basically their diet. He remembers the diet being Guinness and cheap Polish lager. He said it's good.
I saw Simon eat, but he came.
He did drink quite a lot of beers. I think it was the Polish. It was the Polish lagers, the cans that they'd bring around. We'd have Guinness in the pub next door. There's a pub underneath the studio, actually, that adjoins the studio. You don't even have to walk outside to get to it. Which is quite handy. Also can be dangerous. But
that Guinness went down on that. It's a lovely pint. What did Nicky say? This is just washes down. That's what he said. You know, it's a good one when it washes down. That's the best way to put it.
But it's good to get away and get a little perspective. With a quick Guinness.
I never saw Simon eat actually. It's true. Rob has a fruit salad, right? But he can hold the booze, can't he? He just holds down that Guinness. But I don't think they had a lot of money, man, to be honest. So, you know, it was a sort of.
There's not much to do in Cricklewood other than drink, anyways. So we had that against us also. There's a great mechanic. I don't know if you've been to Hassop Road before, but there's all these mechanics at your chop shops, and they're selling drugs on the street and all day long grinding off serial numbers off of cars. And we've seen all kinds of things. In the middle of tracking, there'll be like people fighting and screaming in the middle of the session, and that gave us a little bit of entertainment.
It's got an energy, man. Yeah.
What I mean, you mentioned Nuclear Oil, When They Rise, but what? Personally, for each of you, what was the most? Would you say the most song you're most proud of, maybe on the album, to be a part of, or maybe how much you put a lot of work into that particular song to make it help it what it was?
Rapture is the most euphoric thing, and I put that song Rapture on when I'm working on something that I want perspective of how good something can make you feel. And that's nothing to do with me, or I don't think the studio or anything. It's just to do with the fact they've written a really euphoric, explosive song. I mean, I would say that that's the most. I'm most happy to have been involved in that, even though I don't feel that perhaps. I think all we did was capture that song. I think they knew how that should be, and that was about getting Nicky. The whole record has had each person has had their sort of. Tried to sort of heighten every bit of their sound, but Nicky's vocal, I'm particularly proud of the diction, clarity, and I knew how good a singer he was because I've known him for years, and I feel that we got that across. I'm proud of that as a different thing, but as songs go on the record, I'd say Rapture. That's just such devastating.
Rapture's a great song. Yeah. I always love Fiction as well. Like that's the one that really hit me first, I think, and the one that I always played for people first after that first batch of 4 songs, because it really hits you at the beginning of the song with that drum beat.
And it's so fucking bad. It's so badass. I like the way it's.
And everybody said, "How'd you get that drum sound in this studio?" Because we were just we just try to make it sound good, but
this guy's sick on the board though, man. The drum. I mean, I don't know. This isn't like sound on sound.
It doesn't matter, but
I mean, this guy's doing stuff on there that you wouldn't see in a. It's his own talent to get that sound. That's another part of it. But I mean, song-wise, I think.
But I just really loved that song, and that was the one that, and also just the kind of
and the lyrics.
We had that doubling effect on that song too, which works amazing on Nicky's vocal, it almost sounded to me like a Dandy Warhol kind of vibe.
Yeah,
in the verses.
It's got that kind of Nicky doubles.
It was really good.
I'm sure Nicky wouldn't mind us talking about that either, because he's such a sort of honest bloke as well. I mean, because even like I don't know, Nirvana didn't want to double their vocal, but they did. I mean, the double vocal in that sort of Ian Brown sort of Golden Gate sort of. Is that the song?
Is it Promises?
I think I'm thinking of the song I referenced.
That's the most Ian Brown song. When I listen to that, I think that sounds.
That we use the same effect on that. We use the same, the doubling technique, and it's this kind of technique where he doesn't really try to make it perfectly in sync. It's just kind of adds to the charm of it being a doubled vocal, I guess.
Fiction. The first batch of songs, Rapture and Fiction, were both in them, and that's when we really see at the pants. So the band were just like. Probably Nicky in it. I don't know. You coming to the pub? Fucking hell.
Those were great. And then the second batch, I mean, I think Holy War was maybe my favorite
Mm.
from that batch.